a Knott's paleontologist whose research into dinosaur bones is yielding fascinating insights into the way the huge reptiles lived. Ryan Clayton's studies have seen him diagnose a dino with a rather unique bone disease. And he's here with us now, guys.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming in, Ryan.
No problem.
So tell us a little bit about the project then.
So basically, I went to Wyoming last 2 summers ago, actually, to conduct research basically on one of their dinosaurs. They had some really interesting pathologies on one of their specimens. So I went over because I was at university. I wanted a dissertation project that I would really enjoy. This sounded really cool. So I went over and had a look at what they had and found some really cool stuff.
And so what is it then? What have you been looking at specifically?
So the dinosaur is a Diplodocus or Diplodocus. There's not really any preference to how you say it, but basically this dinosaur is really interesting because it has some really strange pathologies that represent injuries caused potentially by another animal, or it was a nasty fall. So basically what's happened, if we use this model, is you got these bones here, which is called the pubis. And you can see in the middle here, there's a strange growth. Now, what that represents is a growth that shouldn't be there. It's grown there for a reason, and it looks like it was infected, actually. And by looking at that, we can see that this may have actually been stomped in the crotch by another animal. Now, we couldn't prove that, but we think that that might have been what happened here, because this bone on the left had actually been broken. Actually, the bone on the right. The bone on the left is the one that actually grew the growth. And it looks like it was trying to stabilize that broken bone because muscles were pulling on it. So this bone growth formed to try and stop it moving out of place, basically.
That's really, really fascinating. And this is a scaled-down model of the actual bones that you dug up, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. It's a 1/10 scale model, so the actual bones would be like, ooh, this big, and that's just these bit, because this represents the pelvis of the animal. So if you can imagine the tail going this way, the belly is here, and then you got a long neck going that way. That's what we have here, yeah.
And so what does finding out about this information tell us about I suppose, the breed of dinosaur?
Well, coming down to the breed of dinosaur, that's actually really interesting because we thought these pathologies might represent a new species, but by the look of it, it doesn't. We just have something that's really weird that happened in the pelvic region. But what's really cool, what's the first world thing in paleontology, for dinosaurs anyway, is that this bone here, the left femur, has this really strange growth kind of looking thing here. This is a muscle attachment called the trochanter, and it's much longer than we would expect. It's never been seen like this in any dinosaur before. Wow. This is an example of emphysetis. So basically, emphyseal changes have occurred because of muscles being damaged, probably torn from the leg, because this would have connected to the tail. And so this is actually the bone trying to heal that injury. So,
has it surprised you how much there still is to learn about dinosaurs?
Definitely, because these pathologies are really interesting, but what I find absolutely fascinating is that these prove that this animal survived the injuries. You know, this animal either had a really bad fall, or it got stomped and it broke a bone in a really embarrassing area. And yeah, really horrible muscle attachments. This animal would have been in a lot of pain. But it survived. The evidence says this animal survived, and that's what I find absolutely phenomenal, is it made it through. It got through, it walked.
It's fascinating stuff. Thank you so much for coming in, and good luck with the rest of your studies.
Thank you
so much.